In the furthest northeast reaches of Siberia, beyond the reach of paved roads and urban noise, past the frozen shores of the Arctic Ocean, and across landscapes swallowed by snow and silence, there exists a land where survival is a daily act of perseverance, wisdom, and ancestral strength. This is Chukotka, the homeland of the Chukchi Nomads, a land of eternal winter, shifting herds, whispering spirits, and traditions that have endured for centuries in one of the harshest climates on Earth. Here, nature speaks in a language of wind and ice. Storms roll in without warning. Whiteouts obscure the horizon for days, and temperatures plunge so low they can freeze human breath midair. This is a land not meant for the faint-hearted.
And yet, within this unforgiving expanse, the Chukchi have carved out a way of life so intimate with nature, so in tune with the rhythms of the Arctic, that their very survival feels like a form of ancient poetry. For the Chukchi, existence is
a partnership with the land and the animals that roam it. Chief among them is the reindeer, a creature that has become more than a companion. It is their lifeline. The inland Chukchi are reindeer herders by tradition, moving with the seasons, following the patterns of grazing, the behavior of the animals, and the subtle changes in wind and snowpack that guide their decisions. The reindeer provides them with everything: meat, fat, bones, sinew, transportation, and clothing. Its hide becomes tents and bedding. Its antlers are carved into tools. The bond between herder and animal is sacred and built on trust, instinct, and generations of accumulated knowledge. Their shelters, called yarangas, are feats of nomadic engineering. These portable homes are constructed from wooden frames and covered with reindeer hides, layered thick to insulate against the brutal cold.
inside, the air is warm and thick with the scent of smoke, cooked meat, and furs. Firewood, precious and rare in this treeless tundra, is used sparingly, often supplemented with moss or animal fat for heat. The central hearth burns day and night,
keeping the darkness at bay. At the heart of the yaranga, life unfolds communally. There is no isolation here. Family members eat, sleep, and live closely together, bound not just by blood, but by the shared task of surviving a land where the climate shows no mercy. Life for the Chukchi Nomads follows cycles of migration, calving seasons, seasonal hunts, spiritual rituals, and quiet moments of storytelling beneath oil lamps. These are not people in a hurry. Their time is set not by clocks or calendars, but by the instincts of animals, the growth of moss, the pull of the sun, and the return of light in spring. The Chukchi children grow up amidst these rhythms. From a young age, they are expected to learn the skills that will one day mean the difference between life and death. They help care for the reindeer, learn how to identify safe ice from dangerous ground, how to track prey, skin animals, and survive long journeys in blizzards. Play and learning blend seamlessly. A sled becomes both a toy and a training ground. A reindeer calf, both companion and future livelihood. Education here is not confined to classrooms. It is passed through the hands and lips of elders, in gestures, in observation, in repetition. Knowledge is not written but lived. The elders are the keepers of this wisdom. Oral historians, weather readers, spiritual guides, and natural philosophers. Their stories are layered with myth and memory. They speak of a time before snowmobiles, when herding routes stretched even further, and communities were bound by shared hardship and sacred rituals. They remember a different era, a pre-Soviet time when shamanism flourished, when each child learned the songs of the tundra, and when offerings were made before every hunt. Shamanism, though pushed underground during Soviet times, still lingers in gestures, chants, and seasonal rites. The Chukchi worldview is animistic. Every rock, tree, mountain, and animal is believed to hold a spirit. Harmony with these spirits ensures survival. Disrespect invites disaster. Shamans once traveled vast distances to perform ceremonies, heal illness, and mediate between the physical and spiritual worlds. While fewer in number today, some traditions persist. Rituals to honor the reindeer before slaughter, songs sung to appease the wind, Amulets passed from hand to hand containing prayers, memories, and ancestral protection. For coastal Chukchi, the relationship with the sea is just as intimate. They hunt walrus and whale, venturing onto treacherous ice floes in skin-covered boats. Their tools, made of driftwood and carved ivory, are testaments to a people who have always adapted with ingenuity. They use every part of the animal. Nothing is wasted. Coastal communities, though fewer today, still echo with the songs of hunters and the stories of ancient voyages under the aurora. Modernity, of course, has reached even this distant frontier. The Soviet era brought immense changes. Children were sent to boarding schools far from home, often returning unable to speak their native language. Collective farms tried to replace traditional herding systems. Snowmobiles and rifles replaced sleds and bows. Religion was suppressed. Nomadism was discouraged. But while many communities settled into permanent villages, a number of families chose to keep moving, to continue living by the old rhythms, resisting the tide of forced modernization. And now, new challenges emerge. Climate change is rapidly altering the Arctic. Permafrost is melting, transforming stable roots into dangerous bogs. Insects that were once rare now appear in swarms during the short summer, carrying unfamiliar diseases. The migration patterns of animals are shifting. Reindeer struggle to find food beneath ice-crusted snow. Storms are fiercer and more unpredictable. The ice that once protected hunting grounds now fractures and thins prematurely. There is also the pull of urban life. Cities like Reindeer offer jobs, education, technology, and comforts unimaginable in the tundra. Young people are drawn to them, and many never return. As the number of full-time herders dwindles, so too does the reservoir of traditional knowledge. When a herder dies without passing on his skills, an entire archive of survival is lost. Yet amidst this uncertainty, there is a quiet resilience. Cultural revival movements are taking root. The Chukchi language, long endangered, is being taught again in schools. Ceremonies, once performed in secret, are now celebrated openly at cultural festivals. Young filmmakers, poets, and activists are emerging, blending old and new, telling stories of the tundra in modern media while honoring the voices of their elders. Technology, ironically, has become a new bridge. Satellite phones and solar panels allow nomads to stay connected. Drones are used to scout herds. GPS systems supplement traditional navigation, though many still say nothing is as accurate as a Chukchi elder's reading of the stars and snow. Social media platforms host photos of reindeer births, videos of singing grandmothers, and instructions on how to build a proper yaranga. Some young families are returning to the land, not out of necessity but choice. They see in the nomadic life something the modern world has forgotten: stillness, intimacy, and purpose. A life where children grow up in nature, where food is hunted, not bought, where survival depends on cooperation, not competition. They are stitching together a hybrid identity: reindeer herders with smartphones, hunters who record their kills on GoPros, children who recite traditional songs after watching cartoons. For all its harshness, the Arctic offers something rare: silence, space, clarity, a bond between humans and the earth that is direct, unmediated, and humbling. The Chukchi Nomads remind us that survival is not just a matter of tools or strength. It is a matter of philosophy, of respect, of knowing your place in the great cycle of life and death. They teach us that to thrive in the most hostile land on earth, one must not conquer it, but listen to it. As the wind sweeps across the white plains of Chukotka, carrying with it the howl of dogs, the clatter of sleds, and the soft steps of reindeer, the Chukchi continue their journey. They are fewer now, but they are not gone. Each yaranga that rises in the snow, each child that learns to ride, each elder that tells a story ensures that their legacy will not vanish. In a world that races forward, the Chukchi Nomads remain a steady flame in the storm, a living memory of how humans once lived with the earth, not apart from it.
Maybe these weren't hallucinations from eating expired whale blubber after all. Most interesting are the Inuit maps, drawn on sealskin and whalebone, These maps show routes through Greenland that would be impossible today, unless the ice wasn't always there. Tests on these artifacts date some to 800 years ago, yet they depict areas now under 2 miles of ice with remarkable accuracy. The Kiviak scrolls, preserved by Inuit families for 12 generations, describe a journey across Greenland through the Valley of Warm Winds. The route matches exactly with one of the thermal anomalies detected in 1996. How did they know this warm spot was there without modern technology? When modern research finally caught up, the truth became clear. DNA studies of Inuit populations show genetic markers typically found in inland, not coastal peoples. This suggests their ancestors lived inland, in areas now completely covered by ice. Their stories weren't fantasies, but memories preserved through countless generations. 42% of Inuit place names in Greenland refer to features that should be impossible to see, yet match perfectly with what's been discovered under the ice. Their ancestors must have had really good memories or really good underground tours. These ancient stories continue to challenge our understanding of Greenland's history. While modern science rushes to explain away these coincidences, the Inuit simply nod knowingly. They've been patiently waiting for thousands of years for the rest of us to catch up to what they already knew. Why would the world's most powerful military spend billions of dollars on a frozen wasteland? In 1960, the U.S. launched Operation Iceworm, supposedly to build missile sites under Greenland's ice sheet. The official story claimed these bases would protect America during the Cold War, but something doesn't add up. The project employed over 2,000 personnel and used specialized equipment designed for deep ice penetration. Yet only 21% of the budget went toward actual missile facilities. The military spent more money digging holes in ice than most countries spend on their entire defense systems. Declassified documents reveal strange requirements. Workers needed special psychological evaluations labeled XK clearance, a security designation not used for any other military project before or since. The evaluation tested how people would react to unexpected discoveries of non-geological origin. What exactly were they expecting to find under the ice? Camp Century, the most famous iceworm base, featured some odd design choices. Despite being built under ice, it included specialized containment areas with radiation shielding and biohazard equipment. The official explanation claimed these were for nuclear power safety, but the documents show the containment facilities were built first, before the nuclear reactor even arrived. The strangest part? Location. Camp Century was constructed directly above one of Greenland's thermal anomalies, the exact spot where ice-penetrating radar had detected unusual cavities. Maps from the planning phase show they deliberately chose this spot despite engineering reports warning against it due to unstable ice conditions. They wanted to be above that warm zone for some reason. Drill cores from the operation were immediately classified. When finally released in 2017, many sections were missing. The military claimed these cores were damaged during storage. 87 core samples, all from the same depth range, coincidentally ruined? Those must have been some clumsy storage handlers dropping exactly the most interesting pieces. Radio transmissions from Camp Century, declassified in 1991, contain unexplained code phrases. Teams repeatedly referenced chariot artifacts and blue visitor protocols. No military dictionary or code book from that era explains these terms. The project was suddenly abandoned in 1966. The official reason? Ice instability. Yet the base was designed to compensate for ice movement. The real clue comes from shipping manifests. In the weeks before evacuation, the military flew in 54 specialized containment vessels designed for biological transport. They flew out with something. But what? Denmark, which controls Greenland, wasn't informed about the true scope of Iceworm until decades later. When they requested the full operation records in 2014, the U.S. claimed many documents were lost in a convenient archive fire. The world's best military somehow can't figure out fireproof filing cabinets. Whatever the military discovered beneath Greenland's ice alarmed someone important. The whole operation raises questions that many people dismiss as crazy talk. But when the military spends billions to dig under ice and then runs away with mysterious containers, maybe the crazy ideas deserve a second look. Talking about what might be happening in Greenland often gets you labeled as crazy. Three main theories keep popping up: the hollow Earth idea, lost ancient civilizations, and hidden advanced technology. Before rolling your eyes, consider how many ridiculous ideas turned out to be true throughout history. The hollow Earth theory suggests our planet isn't solid all the way through, but contains large habitable spaces inside. Sounds like science fiction, right? But radar mapping of Greenland has revealed enormous cave systems under the ice, some big enough to fit entire cities. In 2007, ground-penetrating scans found a chamber roughly 8 miles across beneath central Greenland. That's not just a cave, that's downtown Manhattan with room for parking. When discussing lost civilizations in Greenland, skeptics quickly point out how impossible it would be for anyone to live there. Yet core samples have found traces of processed metals, including copper and a strange aluminum